Hello.
Hi.
Welcome to Gimmerish FM. This is James speaking. Recording on the December 11th, Sunday, December 11th, 2016. Welcome to Cursory Conversation. I am James and you are...
Tania. I'm glad. I feel like I should almost like spell my name out. You're so fluid with yours, and then I just kind of come in and say, I'm Tania, how's it going?
I don't think I would ever get a professional radio job.
Well, I mean, I just kind of interject, like, I feel like I need like a little voiceover.
You don't have to
button.
lean into the mic. Sorry.
It's fine.
We're testing a new mic positions.
Yeah, but I feel like I'm trying to talk to you as well.
Or you... Yeah, all right. Okay,
you know what I mean? I'm not
with
trying
eye contact.
to... Yeah, but I'm looking over the mic.
We can push it out.
Yeah, it's fine. It's just so I can see you.
Well, I'm going to be looking at my notes.
Well, I don't want to look at you either then. Whatever.
How are you, Tania?
I'm good. I sound a bit husky, as you can probably hear. I have no idea why. I feel pretty well, besides the fact that I have a manly voice. Mm. So I hope this goes away.
Yeah, no, I was thinking you should just introduce yourself as, hi, I'm like Regina George or something.
I was about to say, what do I sound like with a husky voice?
Scarlett Johansson.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I'll take that. I'll just pretend to be her for a while. It's okay. Well, voice-wise, obviously.
Yeah.
No one looks like Scarlett Johansson. We can only dream as a female population.
Do you ever... I haven't seen it, but I remember watching bits and pieces of it. But do you ever think back to Ghost World? Did you ever see that movie?
No.
It's like the first movie Scarlett Johansson on, and you wouldn't have... I'm pretty sure if you watched that, you wouldn't go, wow, she would be like... You know,
sex like icon. Yeah.
For this
no, I've never actually seen that movie. Is she really young in it?
Yeah, she's probably a teenager.
I feel like I've seen her in another movie and she's quite young in it. And I've gone, oh, and not realised as well. Still beautiful, but yeah, not, forethought.
Yeah, she just looked like your girl next door kind of regular person.
Yeah. How are you doing?
All right. We were meant to record like 2 weeks ago, but I hurt my back.
And from this whole 2 weeks, I thought that he hurt his ankle. So I've been messaging James being like, how's your ankle going? And he's probably like, you haven't corrected me though. You've not gone, what the fuck are you talking about? You haven't said anything. So I'm just like, okay, he's ignoring my question. He must be fine. And then I get here today and he's like, oh no, I hurt my back. And then I made him go through our messages to tell me what he wrote. And apparently he did write back and I've just morphed it into sprained ankle for 2 weeks. So good job, me.
Okay. Yeah, and it wasn't exciting. Like, I think I was just petting a dog. That's how old I am.
You sprained your back petting a dog.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it's hard work. Did you bend your knees properly?
Obviously not. I think I was just sitting on a chair.
That makes it so much worse. You weren't even walking around. It's probably
something I did in my sleep, and it only just triggered when I.
Yeah, maybe. Was it upper or a lower back?
Lower, I think.
Shame. Lower back's so awkward. It's just one of those awkward parts of your body to like stretch or release, and I find anyway.
It's just annoying that you kind of, after going to work all day and putting stress on it, you kind of just want to lay down. You don't want to podcast.
Oh, sorry. To inconvenience you and your listeners.
That's okay.
I have our biggest fans keep asking me when our next episode's coming out.
Yeah, well, you've been busy.
I know. I thought I'd keep telling them. But, Mark and Kia, they'll be happy they get their shout out again. Keep asking. So it's cool. They listen to us.
Hi, Mark and Kia.
Yeah. Fades.
So what have you been doing? Why have you been busy?
Just we've got our end of year show coming up this week. Oh my God, it's 3 days away. But yeah, so like in preparation for that, the hours have changed kind of slightly where I study to kind of get that ball rolling. Plus I've been working 3 jobs on the weekend.
I was like, you've got a new job.
Yeah, I got an extra job. So I reckon I've been there almost a month and a half, maybe 2 months, but it's just an awkward limbo because the plan was that I'd get more hours the other one and quit the other one, but I wasn't sure they were going to give me more hours, so I stuck it out, and I've just been so busy. Between Friday and night, I'd do Friday night at the bar, then Saturday day at the winery, Saturday night at the bar, and 8:30 in the morning at the music school till 2. So literally about 4.5 hours sleep. And then again for classes on Monday till Friday and longer days. So, and then I've started doing Wednesday nights as well for my other job. So literally just flat out. I don't know what I've been doing with myself. And then I had 2 days off last week, like just miraculously during the day. We knew we were having the Friday off because they had auditions for next year, but they gave us a Wednesday off. And I was like, I'm sorry, what did you say? Like, we all didn't know what to do with ourselves. Like, and then the Friday, and because I had the day off, I think I had like a fever last weekend for a couple of days, and then that I feel fine. Yeah, so that's been fun. But yeah, our shows are this week. So we got Wednesday, Thursday, Friday night. And yeah, it's going to be awesome. I say this, but James is coming to the Thursday night show, so you can review. Actually, because I didn't know you last year, so this will be your first, like, end of year kind of show. Like, you come to my other shows, but they've been full, like, shows in their entirety. Like, you came to the play, you came to the musical. This is actually just, like, a mix mash of performances. So it's, like, dance numbers, singing numbers, song and dance numbers, solos, duets, all costumed, all lighted, and...
But is it like your graduation recital? Like, do you have one piece that's yours to prove that you're skilled in?
Actually, I have got a solo song.
And it's just you, no dancers.
No, it is with the dancers as well. But so it's the first year dancers that accompany me, and they're doing a showgirl number, and I sing and move around with them as well. So it's fun because it's quite...
Are you a showgirl?
Sorry?
Are you a showgirl?
No. Well, I'm wearing like a gold sequin glitter dress, and it's meant to be it's from a TV show called Smash. So the premise of the TV show is that they're making a musical about Marilyn Monroe.
That's the one with Cher, isn't it?
No, that's Burlesque. That's another movie, but good, similar. Actually, oh wait, yes, no, she is in Smash. No, it's Angelica Houston.
Oh, Angelica Houston. Okay,
but
I get that too.
Close. Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, so basically, but there's songs that they sing in the show, and so this song was a number from that, and it's based in Marilyn Monroe's like Some Like a Hot Phase. So yes, that's my solo song. I'm doing a duet as well.
Are you wearing a blonde wig?
No, we joked about it, but out of context, it won't really make sense. So it's still like within that style, just not the same as what it was in the show. I've got a duet with Kia, actually, with one of our favourite listeners. It's really sad though. Like, we did a duet last year together, and it was like a couple arguing, and it was really cute and pattery. And this one's a really lovely song.
So they're show songs.
But yeah, they're from musicals.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Some of the dance numbers aren't all from musicals, like the songs that you might know, kind of thing. But yeah, there's like contemporary jazz, Latin. There's a stage combat number. They use swords, which is pretty cool. Yeah, it's like a pirate number, so you'll see that. I don't need to tell you too much because then you won't really expect anything. But yeah, so it's a mix, like it's our gala performances. So yeah, it'll be a bit different to what you've seen.
What's your new job like?
It's good, yeah. It's at a bar, and I've never done bar work before. So. And
you're just serving drinks. You're not serving food.
No, like we take food orders, but yeah serving drinks. Learning how to make cocktails and all of that. So it's different, but I'm quite enjoying it actually. It's very active. So, having that as a new addition to my other 2 jobs.
Yeah.
Has been very exhausting.
Yeah.
But no, it's good. I like it. It's just trying to get, you try and get your mind into a new job, like having that type of brain. Like, I've always done retail and office stuff. And then I've done a bit of hospitality, like with the waitressing stuff at the winery. But then having a bar brain is a completely different thing again. So it's like just training your brain in that sense. But yeah. But no, I enjoy it. You should come buy a drink from me sometime.
Maybe. So it's in Leederville.
Yes. Yeah, it's in Leederville.
And so what do you do when you finish and so you go there after school?
Yeah, on the Fridays or the Wednesdays. Yeah, I've been going after class. I mean, but yeah, that was on Friday was my last official class up there.
Okay.
So, yes. And then
what are you going to do with yourself?
I know, honestly, like it's just been such a crazy busy year, and especially the past couple of months. I don't know what I'm going to do when I have like a day off. I'm so used to being on the go, and but I haven't gotten as like I'm exhausted, but not as much as I was kind of the other like few months back when I had like a couple of other jobs and stuff. But I think because I knew that there was like an end goal, I guess, But yes. Other than that, what's been new with you?
I was wondering. This is a question I had for you.
Yes.
If you could like pay to go to like a place, and they let you like pee for a really long time, would you pay for that?
What? Why do you do this to me? Why do you ask this weird? Why does it matter that I'm allowed to pee for such a long time? Like, what's the?
Did you ever like you're really busting to go to the toilet and it's like a big long pee and you go, wow, that was like.
Okay, yeah.
That was like, whew.
So why would you not just go?
What if
home?
they just like turn it up to the max? So you have to like pee for like 15 minutes.
Who turns it up to the max?
The place they put something into you, and
Oh, so you mean so that I like
it's kind of like an experience, like an escape
release?
room. You go to an escape room to get locked in.
No, that's not one of my favorite like sensations. I mean,
Yeah, but it doesn't have to be a favorite. It could be like it's like a cleansing.
But I wouldn't pay for that unless it was like unless they were putting some sort of detox thing in your body, and then that long pee.
It psychologically makes you feel it's like an enema, but for the other end.
It would have to actually have benefits, not just because they're psychologically pumping me with water and then I have to pee for 2 hours. Like that's just weird. It'd have to have some sort of like.
What if all your friends on Instagram were like posting pictures, like kind of like they do the coffee scrub thing, and you?
No, I don't think I'd be into that. I could safely say.
Do you think it's different for girls? Guys, you kind of have like a bit of a hose going. You can spray it around and.
Or you have a good time with it. Yeah, it's different because we just have to sit there and.
It's not as fun for girls.
Not really. You can't really. I mean, it's not. Do you think peeing is fun? Would you pay for that?
Well, I don't know. If you ever have to water your garden with a hose, it's kind of fun. You get to like change the way it sprays, and
Would you? Yeah. Would you pay for that?
That's what I'm wondering.
What do you mean? Well, you asked me. I said not.
Yeah,
particularly.
I'm doing market research.
Not particularly, but would you?
I think I would be interested to try it.
Even if it had no value whatsoever, you just want to pee for a long time.
Yeah, just to see what it's
but
like.
Your bladder would be really uncomfortable. It would be that kind of like.
Yeah, but they just slowly make it feels more and more comfortable over time.
What? Why? What is the purpose of this? I feel like it would mess with your bladder, like especially for women, and they'd like before or after giving birth, or I feel like it'd just mess with you.
Are you worried about that kind of stuff?
I haven't really overly thought about it. When I'm around like mother people, then I kind of think about it, but not in my day-to-day life. No. Like today, I said to my sister, I was like, "Oh, I don't know whether I should fake tan Monday night or Tuesday night." Now, I never fake tan. I'm really lazy. But because we've got the show coming up, and I was like, oh, maybe because I have to wear a crop top, so I was like, I might try it. And because the show's Wednesday, so I'm like, do I do it the day before or the Monday or whatever?
Yeah.
And my sister's like, oh, God, I wish that's all, I had to worry about because she's a mum now.
Yeah.
And I was like, please, there was a time where this was what you probably worried about as a 25, 26-year-old. Don't get up on your high horse because you're a mum now. Like, it's okay for me to think about for the show's purposes, not because I'm like, when should I be brown? But yeah.
Are you older than when your parents had you?
Yes. Oh, actually, no, I lie. My mum was 28 when she had me, so no. But
Okay.
older than when she had my sister and stuff.
Does that you ever think about that? Like,
Yeah, I sometimes I do. Like, it's mostly when I was around the age that she was. So, like, when I hit the age over, so when I was, like, 21, 22, I was like, oh, you had a 1-year-old at this age. Or, you know, every now and then I think about it, but not.
do you think if you had met someone that you'd want to have a kid with at that age, you would have considered having a kid?
No. No, I think I would have been happy to not go down there yet.
All right. So what were you doing between like high school and doing this pad thing? Was going to pad like a change in lifestyle, or was it just part of your journey? Was it like a 90-degree turn or whatever they say?
No, it wasn't a 90-degree turn. Like I applied for uni and stuff when I left like high school, or at the end of high school, and I got into an art degree, and then I deferred for a year because I wanted to travel. And then I crashed my car at some point during my saving, so then I had to extend it another 6 months before I could actually go, which turned out to be the right thing because I met the right people, if that makes sense. So I ended up traveling when I was 19. I went for like 3 months or something. And then I came back and decided that I wanted to move over where it was closer to travel and everything. And I loved like England as well. So then I moved over to London for 2 years. Yeah, and then I was there for 2 years. I came back when I was like 23, and then about 6 months of empty space when I was like, what do I do now? Do I study for a year and then go to Canada? Do I, save up straight away and go, or do I? And then I've ended up being a pad for 2 years and working my ass off. I mean, it's different because obviously I was working full time. So that was the difference in lifestyle. I went from doing the full time sort of stuff in the office and everything, and then coming back and doing a bit of hospitality because I wanted to meet new people because, people move on when you move away and all that kind of stuff. So I tried to, get out there and meet new people, and then I ended up at pad. And pad just kind of supplemented my, like, I've always been interested in it. So I kind of thought, well, why not see if you're any good at it? So if you can get a career out of it, then you'll love what you do for the rest of your life.
So you were working an office job in England?
Yeah, I was a course advisor at a university.
So while you were doing that, you weren't daydreaming about?
Oh, I was. I did.
Singing.
I only went to a couple of dance classes while I was over there. But yeah, I was kind of like, but I was just too nervous and not confident enough to go out and audition for anything. But I would look up auditions and try and see what I could go to. And because I was always working, it was really hard because most of them were during the day. And I did quit my job a couple of months out. And I thought that maybe I'd audition for a bit of stuff, but I went to a couple of like student stuff, and then I just chickened out because I wasn't confident. And so when I was in London, I'd planned on doing it, but realistically, I didn't have as much background to do it, and so now I would feel more confident to go and audition for stuff like when I go to Canada. And
you couldn't do that stuff in London, like after you've decided to. Like, why come back to Perth?
Oh, because I couldn't get a visa. I wouldn't have been able to afford to be a student.
A visa issue.
Well, yeah, I wouldn't have been able to afford to be a student and pay for myself in the UK. It's just, it'd be ridiculous.
Okay.
Yeah. And like rent and all that stuff especially with these kind of courses, they're quite often very full on.
Yeah.
So the work that you can do is very minimal, which means no money. But I didn't come back to do that. I was sitting here for 6 months saying, like, what do I do?
Okay.
And then I thought, I'll look it up and see if they have any of those courses around here, because I hadn't really heard of it. Besides Whopper, I'd not really heard of anything. And I knew I wouldn't get into Whopper. So I looked elsewhere. I was looking at massage therapy as well. I was going to do like a course for a year of that. And I applied for like kind of both, looked at both, and then I got into pad and yeah.
I can't remember why I brought that up.
Just because you wanted to know more about me.
Yes.
Well,
it had anything to do with peeing, was it?
I'm glad that peeing led you to my life story. I don't know how that correlates, but cheers.
No, there's definitely something in between them. I can't remember what it was. What have you been consuming, Tania?
See, I always get confused with this sometimes because our last podcast was so long ago. It feels like. So I'm trying to No, I wanted to tell you this spider story because I don't know if it's just me, but does your house have an excessive amount of spiders because of the heat?
Outside it does, not inside.
Oh, mate. My bathroom, for some reason, just has the big black, like, bottle lid sized spiders.
Yeah.
Anyway, and there was one kind of just chilling on the roof for a while, so I just let it be for a bit.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was like, okay, like, I'll kill it. And I think I killed it. So the other day I was rummaging through my wash basket. I was looking for tights or something. And I saw this like spider move at the bottom of the wash basket. I was like, fucking great. Now I'm going to have to find that. But I was running late. I didn't have any spray. And yeah, so I didn't know what to do. So I bought some spray on my way home that night. And I pulled out all of my clothing from the wash basket individually to try and find this fucking spider.
Yeah.
And then I pulled out all my stuff like so carefully. And then I couldn't find it. So I was like, great. It's probably crawled out and gone somewhere else. So I kind of sprayed around my pile on the floor. Like, I know, I didn't know what to do. Anyway, I came back in about 10 minutes later and it's almost like it had tried to like sneak out. So it was like on the floor. And I was like, so I killed it. And it was later in the evening, like 11, and it was probably a hot day as well. So I've killed it, and then I've gone to put it in the toilet to flush it down the toilet. Walked into the toilet, there's one kind of like down the bottom of the side of the toilet, another spider.
Yeah.
Pretty sure it might have been a redback. I don't know. Killed that. Looked up on the exhaust fan. Another fucking spider hanging down. Legit, like they were just everywhere. And I was like, what is happening? Like big and yuck. Anyway, so then a couple of days later, or maybe it was the next day. Let's say it was the next day for dramatic effect. But the next day, hot again. And I've come home from class and I've taken my dress off. So I'm walking around in my bra and underwear and I go to the bathroom. I go to the toilet. Yeah, it was hot. I go to the toilet and then I come into the bathroom to wash my hands. And there is a spider on my fucking head. I had like some wispy bits because my hair was messy. And it was just sitting on top of my head. So I've looked up from washing my hands and there's a spider on my head. And then I'm basically naked. So then I've calmly tried to like flick it off with like, I don't even know what I used, like a makeup wipe or something that was just lying around. And then I've looked down and I couldn't see it anywhere. I have no idea where it went. I couldn't see it crawling around. So I'm freaking out thinking it's in my hair still. And I'm like, there's only like boys home. And I've run out to my like stepbrother and been like in a towel and kind of been like, sorry, I'm half naked, but can you please check my hair for a spider? Because I could not see it anywhere. I still don't know where it went. Just all these spiders. I don't know how the fuck that spider got on my head. Yeah, that's my spider story.
Okay. Did you find it? You didn't ever found it?
No, I still haven't found it. I don't know where it is. And like I have the spray sitting in the bathroom now. The raid is just waiting for like yesterday I came home and there was like a baby cockroachy thing somewhere. So I just then went to bed and found it this morning. I was like, good. So I'm just keeping that in there just in case.
That's always a fear of mine is like at night you feel like, oh crap, I just walked through a spider web. Mm-hmm. Don't know where the spider is. But because it's at night, it's probably out in the web. So it probably
is on you somewhere.
And then you walk into the bathroom, you turn the lights on and then stare into the mirror and you're just waiting to see this giant spider on you.
Mate, like at the winery, again, because it's hot, in the morning, there are giant fucking thick spider webs. And when you're setting up, you walk through about 3 or 4 and it's so gross.
Between the vines?
Yeah, because they're up in the vines. Then they kind of attach themselves to the pillars and the chairs so we kind of have to go around and clean it. I hate it. I'm just sitting there, everyone laughs at me. I'm like, I'm not like arachnophobic, but I don't particularly like, having a spider crawling around. Yes, that was my spider story. Oh yes, I'm still in consumption mode. I actually was reading up. This comes under consumption. So I don't know if you've heard. I can't remember what the website's called. I think it's called Miss Travel or something. Have you heard about it? So basically it's like a dating website for people that travel. So you sign up and then people can either pay for you to go and meet, like you go on holidays together. So it's not necessarily a dating website. It's like to meet up with people that might be going to the same place as you, but it's for like men and women, and they can pay for you to go somewhere, or you can just meet up, or and because I love to travel, like that sounds super.
Is this kind of like seekinganarrangement.com?
I actually don't know, but it's just it's called like Miss Travel, and like they've got little disclaimers.
Miss Travel as in MISS?
Yes, I think so.
As in like Miss Australia wins the title
maybe
for
I
Miss
could
Travel.
be wrong. Actually, let me Google it. I feel like I could possibly be wrong. Because they were talking about it somewhere, and I got confused. Yeah, misstravel.com. It's a free online dating website for adventure-ready singles. Yeah, and I mean, if someone's going to pay for your holiday, I could see why, escorts would, try and hop on that.
I've thought about that because, like, there's been occasions where I don't really like, I hate being a tourist. I only like going places if I have a reason. And sometimes I'm like, well, I have to go to this place. I wouldn't mind paying for someone to go with me.
Yeah, or maybe sign up to this website. Legit. See who you find. And I mean, it doesn't have to be sexual. Just find...
You probably wouldn't want it to be.
Well, I mean, I'm sure a lot of men would have it in their mind that they, might be able to get some sex out of it, for sure.
Yeah, I guess so. I did once go to a friend to Thailand, and it was, it was like we were just friends, but it was like a really romantic journey. But because we didn't have a relationship, there's no baggage with it. So I always have positive associations with it. Like, that was lots of fun.
Yeah,
it's
true.
not like I have to go think about, that was that dumb girl I was trying to impress or whatever.
That's true.
But then maybe I just overthink things too much. You should just be banging broads overseas and just not remembering their names.
No, I don't. I mean, I don't think so. But just as a general kind of, because I like to travel, I would probably sign up for something like that.
I did.
But obviously, you'd have to be wary of meeting complete randoms as well. Safety first, kids.
Yeah, I did have I had to go to this event where there was a bunch of Miss Universe contestants there, and I overheard them talking about this website called seekinganarrangement.com, and that's where you get like some guy in the Middle East just pays for you to look pretty, basically, and hang out with him.
Actually, yes, I might have heard of that one. Which
is pretty much prostitution, because I don't think that's all they do. But they seemed really they weren't like laughing about or joking about it. They're like, oh, you should check it out. So obviously some of it had actually gone through with it.
Yeah, I mean, there's just so many interesting things nowadays, with the dating websites. Like I had a guy try and pick me up at the bar
while you're working.
While I was working on a Friday night. But the way he sold it to me was this. So he was like, and it wasn't like, it was steadily busy. It wasn't like crazy busy. So I could actually kind of have conversations with people, because sometimes on Saturday night, you don't really, because it's so busy. Anyway, so he was like, he's like, hi. He's like, I think I might have served him earlier in the night. I don't remember. He's like, hi, this is a long story. Do you have time to and I was like, okay, go on. Amuse me. I'm not doing anything. And he's like, okay. So he was like, so I was in Melbourne the other week visiting my friends, and we were talking about how nobody gives their number to anyone anymore. It's all via Tinder, rather than just meeting at someone. And I was like, okay, yeah, that's a fair comment. And he was like, so they challenged me to give my number to somebody this week. And I was like, And he was like, so I'm going to give my number to you. He's like, you don't have to message me. It can just, because I've given my number to somebody, I fulfilled my part of the thing. And I was just laughing. I was like, okay, all right. And and he's like, I wouldn't, it wouldn't be this elaborate if it weren't true. Me telling you this story. And I was like, okay, whatever, I'll believe you. I'll give you that. That's fine. And then, he gave me his number. I don't think I'm going to message him, but I was like, I'll I'll help you out if that's your challenge.
So you actually save the number into your phone?
No, I have it on a coaster somewhere.
All right. So sure, that's going to be found easily.
Oh, somewhere.
Yeah.
If I wanted to. But yeah, I just thought that was really interesting. I was like, okay. Like, so do we think that's bullshit or do we think that that's true? Because it's true. Sometimes when people tell an overly long story, it's because it is a lie and they're trying to justify it. Or sometimes it is just genuinely true.
Yeah, sometimes I go out to try to tell stories. I try to get better at telling stories verbally. I'm not a very good verbal person, ironically, despite having a podcast.
Really?
That's part of the reason I started was because I wanted to get better at storytelling, but I'm not sure I do it often enough to actually get better.
Well, considering you don't talk to people for 2 bloody days at a time, I don't like... Jeez, James.
Yeah, well, you don't need to. So, are you saying you brought that as a consumption topic because you've actually signed up for the app to see what it's like?
No, I haven't, but I did go on to the website and kind of see what the website looked like. I didn't sign up, but I did look at it.
Trying to get a free ticket to Canada.
Yeah, maybe. But yeah, no, I just kind of signed up there. And then I actually got a message from a guy today that... So when I was 19... and I was booking all my travel stuff because I was going by myself and it was the first time I pre-booked a couple of tours to like get the feel for it, and then also obviously all my flights in and out. So I did it through this one guy at STA Travel, and we became like really friendly and stuff. And I don't even remember when it kind of turned, like, I don't know, but it was very obvious that he was like hitting on me. And then we went out for a drink sometime or something, and then he was I was 18. No, I was 18 when I started planning the trip. So I was like 18, 19, and I think he was like 26. So like at that age, quite a bit older, 27. And anyway, and then we started like hanging out, and I was like, he's nice and I'm attracted to him, but I just like, I knew I was going away in like 2 months. Yeah, I knew I was going away in 2 months, so I didn't want anything, and he was being quite full on. Like, he'd message me on a Sunday morning and be like, why aren't you at my house? When I'd been out the night before. Yeah. Shit like that. Anyway, nice dude though. But he randomly messaged me today saying that he had a dream about me, and the last message I'd gotten for him on Facebook was 3 years ago, in my birthday 3 years ago. And he was like, oh, I had a dream that I was selling your house and that you came home and I was in your house and then you yelled at me for breaking into your house. It was just so random. I was like, I have not spoken to you in 3 years. So my point being is like, have you ever gotten... I mean, this has happened to me a few times because it's true, you think about someone, you message them, or... that kind of old flame, or you still talk to one of them. Like, I have a ex of mine that we talk every now and then, like, just to see how we're going. Like, he has a girlfriend and, like, we were long distance, so it was never properly a thing, but we're just always interested in each other's lives. But this guy, like, yeah, I wouldn't even classify him as an ex, and just talking. Yeah, so have you ever had one of those kind of things where it's just been such a long period between times and they message you saying that they're, they've had a dream about you? I said to him, I was like, do you ever remember what me yelling looks like? Like, when you have a dream and you can't picture, like, all the people.
So are you asking if I ever have dreams from exes, about exes and stuff, or? Yeah. Or do I get messages from?
No, if you've gotten a message from someone and it's been, so long in between.
I had 2 girls message me like about 4 years, both occasions about 4 years after I'd last seen them, saying that, actually, no, that's wrong. I'm combining people here. I had
it's too many ladies.
Yeah, okay, both similar. One girl messaged me to say that I had ruined her life.
What, like years later?
Yeah, because like apparently she was in love with me and I never gave her attention. And the other was the opposite, so they're completely different. The other one messaged me out 4 years later saying that, I was such an idiot back then. You were so right about everything. That was very satisfying.
One of those.
The second one was more satisfying
I've
than
had
first.
one of those after moment, and they've been like, "I'm sorry, I was a dick. You're right." Blah blah, and you're like, "Yes, I was correct. Thank you." So you were laughing at my technological Snapchatting, but I just Snapchatted my friends.
Yeah.
And a couple of them just messaged me being like, when does your podcast air? Thinking that it's live.
Yeah.
See?
But, I mean...
we could set up live ones. They've also asked me for a shout out, so I'm going to Snapchat it and then I'm going to do it.
But how will they get it? Can you put a link in that says tap here to join the podcast?
I'm sure you could do that.
I bet you Snapchat won't let you. Even
no,
Instagram has now
Snapchat.
made links
Not by
that you
Snapchat,
can't
by
open them
Facebook.
in Safari. I think.
Really?
They're trying to lock it down. It's so annoying. One of the reasons I haven't been putting more photos on Gymrush because you press the button to go, subscribe, but then it opens it up in its own window. And normally, even if they do that, you can at least... Instagram's good because it just says, would you like to open this in Safari? And boom, you go to the website and you're done.
Yeah.
But now it's in its own thing, and the only option you have to do is copy the address. So you press copy, and then you have to open Safari and paste it in yourself, and that's asking too much of the attention of the modern generation.
Well, I mean, yeah. I'm sure.
That's
No,
Instagram. I bet your
mean on
Snapchat's even worse
Facebook.
because Snapchat,
Yeah, I just mean on Facebook. So
unless you actually pay to that's what they want you to pay for advertising to get a link that actually opens something.
Oh, yeah, but I'm sure there's a way you could do it live. That if people wanted to join, they could.
Well, you can do Facebook Live or Gymrush.
So I'm going to give Michaela and Britt a little shout out. So when you listen to this, whenever James edits it, then we can... Yeah. Oh, I've got my phone on silent though, so they might not actually get it. But that's fine. You guys will hear it later. That's cute. All good. Anyway, yeah, that was my other point, was the old kind of flames that kind of just pop up out of nowhere and message you.
I'm sure it's different for a girl because your guys are looking for booty calls and stuff like that, so you probably get a lot more messages per second than men.
Well, it's not even booty call ones.
Right, but maybe they've got an idea of it becoming a booty call. They're putting the investment in.
Or maybe, is that just how guys' minds work? I'm just convinced that every dude is a player, and then just wants...
Everyone's a player. It's not just girls. Girls and guys are players.
Yeah, they can be. I'm not saying it's just guys.
It's just a reality that...
I date guys, so that's...
I think we discussed it in a previous podcast, but do you ever get tempted by the idea of something like seekingarrangement.com? It's like you're struggling, got 3 jobs and doing stuff, and you could just sign up and bang some guy in Dubai and be paid,
Like
have your whole salary paid for a year. Because guys just don't have that option, really.
I've thought about it.
Outside, maybe in the gay world you do, but guys generally just don't have that option other than...
I've thought about it, but I haven't, like, actually thought about it, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's popped into my mind, but I haven't sat there and gone, can I actually do, like, and plan it out or anything? So I don't think I could. You know, that's probably how I'd go about it. But I think that's all. They were just my little, like, quips. Other than that, it's just been... Oh, actually, I did consume ice cream. I have to bring up food at some point.
Not Gusto, is it?
It is Gusto, but it was a... what's it called? What? It's so good. They have new flavors every week.
Oh, okay.
This one was ricotta, balsamic vinegar, and honeycomb.
Okay.
Sounds weird, but it's really nice.
Makes me think of like salt and vinegar chips.
A little bit. I had a guy make me like balsamic strawberries once with ice cream.
Oh, is it?
That was
Is it
quite
balsamic
nice.
vinegar or is it balsamic sauce?
Balsamic vinegar. But
Okay.
yeah, sorry. Same.
Right, but I think in the fridge I got a balsamic sauce that you put on ice cream, but it's like a sweet sauce. It's not a sour.
I think he
thing.
made it with like sugar and balsamic vinegar and like soaked the strawberries in it. To be fancy. I was like, I've never had that before. I'm impressed.
So is it any good?
It was actually really nice. I was a bit dubious, but it was nice.
What happens how do they know, do they ever have ones that they have every week? Or is it every week they have a completely new
Sometimes
set?
they repeat, like, they have ones like that are there all the time. Sometimes they might repeat like one of the old flavors if it was really popular, like one of the weekly specials. But yeah, usually they change it up every Thursday or something. And everyone at the bar laughs at me because I'm always coming in being like, I just had some ice cream. And they're like, oh God. So yeah.
That's what you do on your break.
Well, yeah, actually, Mickey, the girl I just gave a shout out to, is my ice cream supplier because she works there. So she's
Is she one of the pad girls?
patting me up. Yes. So you'll see her perform. So is Britt. This is where all my paddlings, listen to us. So it's, well, not all of them, a select few.
Awesome.
Yeah. What have you been consuming?
I'll talk about the good things first.
There are negative things on your list this
I
week.
feel I'm not very good at critical things. I just guess I don't like talking about things too much because it's either like I should just say, yeah, this is worth seeing. No, this is possibly not worth seeing. Because I hate it when people talk too much about something and they end up accidentally spoiling stuff about it. Anyway, good things I've seen. Okay, I saw this show called Atlanta. Have you heard of Atlanta?
No.
It is a show which stars Donald Glover, and it's possibly sort of written and produced by him as well. So it's kind of his show. And Donald Glover he's from Community. He's also the rapper Childish Gambino.
Oh, yes, yeah.
And yeah, it's a really good show. You should see that. It's interesting because he is an African American.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the idea of the show is it's meant to be a show, that's written by African Americans. So it's not a bunch of white people writing a show about Black Americans.
Okay, which is good, yeah.
Which is good, but then there are sort of some issues in the show by the fact that it is still written by a man. And I wonder if some of the things that they do in the show, if it was written by a white man, there'll be like a huge controversy. So I wonder how women would interpret the show differently than men. Like, I sort of like it, but I'm identifying with a man.
Okay. I've not actually heard of it.
Well, I don't think if it is on in Australia, it's probably somewhere obscure on Foxtel, so it's probably hard to find because it's not on an easy way to watch it in Australia. So you have to find it other ways. One thing that is easy to watch in Australia on Netflix is this movie called Victoria. It's sort of a low budget film that is
it about royalty?
No, it's not the TV or mini series called Victoria, which I know other people love, about the I guess Queen Victoria. But this is just called Victoria or Victoria.
Is it Italian?
It's I don't know. It's set in Germany, but I think Victoria herself is Nordic.
Oh,
and
okay.
she's in Germany. It starts off, she's in a club and she's trying to get from the club, like she's staying up, and then she's got a job in the morning at a cafe, and she's not even going to go to sleep. She's just going to go straight from the club and start working at a cafe. I think eventually learned that she originally wanted to be a composer, and she was at a composition school, but it got too hard and psychotic. And so now she's sort of a bit lost. But sort of the general concept of this film is it's done in real time, and it's sort of made to look as if it's done in one shot. Like they just press record.
I quite like that kind of style.
Yeah. So it's basically like they just press record on the camera and they're just following these actors around. I guess the main thing that people talk about this film is because it's sort of done in one shot. I think it was actually possibly done more than one shot, and they've just sneakily edited it together. Because I saw a couple of jumps.
Sneaky.
But then I read up online, some people, all those jumps might have just been a correction in the steadiness, and so it made it look like it was cut, even though it was. But I noticed they were in sort of suspiciously dark places. Like, that's where I would have put a cut if I was trying to make it look like it was one shot. Anyway, so it basically, when you do that, and you do it in real time, it basically becomes a play that's filmed in live locations, and it's in real time. And like the one thing I am recommending you watch it. The one thing that works with the one shot thing is the time dilation, because what they do in this film, all the stuff they do, because it's in real time, so I think it's a 2.5 hour movie, so it's literally all this crazy stuff and happens, and then at the end you go, holy crap, that I just watched that in real time, and it feels like so much happened that it must have been over like a period of a day.
Yeah,
there's this real time dilation thing, so it felt a lot longer than it is, which normally is a bad thing, but with this it was actually a good thing. Because this character's life is completely just sort of changed in the space of 2.5 hours.
So is it like real indie kind of film then, yeah?
As it is, well, it's not like they're not doing anything fancy with the camera work to achieve what they're doing. It's literally like a handheld camera. Do you know what I mean? Like Birdman had these big sequences that were
I've
made.
still not seen that.
Yeah, well, that's sort of is like almost 2/3 of the film is made to look like it's done in one shot, but they're doing fancy stuff like they've got steady cams and they're moving the camera through things with trickery and CGI rather than there's very limited CGI in this thing, if at all, so. And because they're going between light and dark areas, it's all set around dawn because it's her going from the club to her job at a cafe. The lighting is not very good, so it doesn't look very good. But that's just an issue with the way they shot it. But the actual action scenes are like, you can tell they put a lot of money in the action scenes to orchestrate them in real time. So yeah, I recommend that movie. And it's mostly in English because she is Nordic and all the other characters are German. Their sort of mutual language that they both understand is English. So sometimes people are speaking German, but they always usually have to translate it for the main character because she doesn't speak German. And there is subtitles for the other things, so you don't have to feel like it's a total foreign film. Watch Black Mirror, which I'm pretty sure we haven't talked about, the new season of Black Mirror.
No, and I've not seen it, but I heard a couple of girls talking about it, and how it's just so interesting. I'm not sat down to watch it. Maybe I can binge once class is done. I can sit down and binge watch that as well.
Yeah, I think you would. I definitely think you would at least watch the first episode. Because they're all self-contained films.
Yes, that's what someone was saying. So
but the first one would be relevant to some of the stuff we've discussed. And I can't say I'm a huge Black Mirror fan because there's a lot of them. They're so kind of basically the idea of Black Mirror is that it's you're looking in a reflection in a mirror. And it's black because it's the dark side of what could happen with the technology we're using. And basically they turn up to the max. So it's like, oh, okay. What if we can make, for one particular episode, there's like, well, what if we can make robots the size of bees, and if the system that controls them could be hacked, what are the worst things that could happen? And the idea was that these robotic bees that are meant to replace normal bees in areas where the bee population has died out. But the system's hacked by a group online, like a bunch of Trump supporters online, and they decide to then kill anyone that goes against Trump, kind of thing. So it's really heavy-handed. So that's the big issue I have. But every now and then there's some good moments in there. Everyone's raving about this one episode about called San Bernardino, and that's sort of I guess I don't want to say too much about it because it's probably better to just go in cold, not knowing too much about it. But that's sort of, it's a much more hopeful thing, which I guess sets it apart from all the other episodes. The one that stuck with me, which other people don't seem to like, but I guess maybe the movie itself wasn't maybe the movie itself, because I couldn't even tell you, I can't even remember how good the actual episode itself is. All I remember is the idea that scares me the most is like, what if modern day Nazis had the technology that they'll have access to? If you know Nazis from the 1930s had access to the technology they'll have access to in the 2030s, and that's a really scary episode. Yeah. Anyway,
is it all the same group of actors in different roles each episode, or is it always different actors?
I think it's pretty much always different actors. I think maybe there's a couple of actors that do it, but they play different characters, but very small differences. And because it's Netflix has put a ton of money into it now, it's on Netflix, so you can watch it easily. Because Netflix put a ton of money into it, it's got a, it looks, some of these episodes feel like a feature film,
Yeah, that's great.
They're even though I went back and watched some of the previous episodes, they still were really, well done films. But this feels like they're taking it to them on an even bigger scale. So yeah, Black Mirror is probably worth checking out if you're looking for something to watch on Netflix. I went to another concert, end of year concert of someone else, like a girl I met at work like 5 years ago, and she only came for like a 2-week trial, but we sort of chatted.
A 2-week trial. What happened to her?
And we added friends. Well, I don't think she decided she didn't like it.
Oh,
or they decided they didn't like her. I don't know what happened.
I was like, which way?
But in the meantime, we had to work together, and we added each other on Facebook, and she had, like you, she had a recite. She's like, oh yeah, put it out, like, please come along. She sells tickets to these shows to raise money to go to Germany, because that's where she's a concert pianist.
Ah, awesome.
I don't think I said that. So that's what she's doing. No, you
just said it was an end of year thing. Yeah.
And so I think she wants to get a master in Germany to work under. And so I went to the show back in the day, and she has them at the Government House Ballroom. So I basically just went an excuse to go to the Government House Ballroom, because I don't think I've ever been there before then. And it was really cool, because there's not, she's not a big socialite, so there's not a huge group of people there. And you're in this giant ballroom, and she's at the piano playing, and it's, a really cool experience. And so she went to Germany for just to study, and she's been back in Perth to do, I don't know, a master's at Whopper. And now she's finished that, and this is sort of this wasn't actually a graduation recital. I didn't go to that because that was just a boring Whopper, but this is at the Government House Ballroom, so it's you go out fancy. I actually had a really nice day, because I went out, took the train in, I can't remember, and walked around Elizabeth Quay, and there was all these sort of things going on there, and walked up through Supreme Court Gardens, and went to the show. And this time she actually had like an opera singer accompanying her, and a really amazing violinist.
Nice.
So she stepped it up.
Did she study at Whopper then, I'm guessing? Or?
Yeah, I think so, yeah. And so, yeah, she was fundraising to go back to Germany to try and get a proper, I don't know, apprenticeship or whatever the equivalent is in the concert piano world.
Does she speak German?
She did. I think she said she learnt German when she was just studying there last time she went. I don't really know that much about her at all. I thought about asking her on the podcast, but I think she's already in Germany now.
She's already gone.
So I consumed that. Started watching this show called The Leftovers on HBO. I should just tell the audience that Tania's just posing for Snapchats. And I assume you're trying various variations.
Yeah. They're not good photos.
They're not all going up on Snapchat.
No.
Yeah.
I'm still listening. I'm still active listening.
No, I just want to give context to that.
What James has to speak to. Sorry, I'm being very rude.
It just worries me that...
How do you know I'm not Snapchatting you?
Did you know that
Dun,
they...
dun, dun.
Did you just hear the new... You know, one thing that's happened since we last podcast, I think, is that Trump won the election.
Actually, yeah.
Okay, and then today it was announced that the Russians actually hacked the election to give Trump the win.
What? How did I not hear that?
Exactly, because everyone's too busy Snapchatting.
No, I just had my first day off in like 2 months and just clicked off the world for the first half of the day.
If this happened in the 1980s during the Cold War...
But what the fuck?
Right? They'll be
true?
cutting every TV station and cutting to the news and saying that the Russians just thing. And does anyone care? No.
Well, I feel like they should. What do you mean? Does anyone care? What the fuck? How have I not heard of that?
Because you're on Snapchat.
I wasn't. Well, just now I am.
Yeah.
But there's a different... I'm not sitting there reading today's news.
Right, but none of the people that you're watching their Snapchats are going, oh my God, did you hear?
No, because the people I follow on Snapchat, they don't comment on... Like, they don't use their Snapchat for that function. So it would be odd if they did.
This is the problem, is we have these filter bubbles where everyone's just in their own bubble. They don't hear anything out of it. And that's why people just don't care that the Russians decided who is the president of the United States. Which is, if I was an American, wouldn't you?
Oh, I'd be outraged.
Yeah, but no one cares.
How does no one care?
Yeah, I started watching a show called The Leftovers on HBO. The reason I started watching it because I was reading this book called Little Children by Tom Perrotta, which I may have talked about in the last podcast. I can't remember. It's the book. They actually made a movie out of it, which I really loved. The movie with Kate Winslet and...
Which movie?
Little Children.
I don't think I've seen that.
And
I love Kate Winslet though.
Yeah, I love the movie. I really like the way it's done. And and after watching the movie, I wanted to read the book, but I was hesitant to because I was worried it would ruin the movie.
Because sometimes they do make them just a little bit better.
Yeah, and so I read the book, and it didn't totally ruin the movie. Because the book wasn't that... I really enjoyed reading the book, but it was described as a comedy. I didn't find it very funny at all.
This is not funny.
It's sort of a suburban drama about a stay-at-home mum and a stay-at-home dad who meet at a playground, and they have an affair.
Oh. And
there's a bunch of other side characters that have stuff going on, and it all sort of comes together in a big finale. And yeah, so the movie and the book, I sort of, I guess I definitely recommend the movie because it's a great piece of cinema. The book, you would have to be interested in like sort of suburban dramas, about a single mum and a stay-at-home... No, they're not both... They both have wives. Like they're not single. They're stay-at-home mum and a stay-at-home dad having an affair while their spouses are at work. If that sounds interesting to you, which if I heard that, I would probably be interested. You would want to see it. Yeah, and so he wrote... I looked up what else Tom Perrotta done. He also wrote the book Election, which was turned to a movie with Reese Witherspoon and the Ferris Bueller.
Oh, I feel like I can see the poster for it, but I haven't seen it.
All right. I think you might like that movie from memory.
What, Election?
Yeah. I haven't read the book, but I was looking at what else he made. He just made this TV he'd written a book called The Leftovers, and HBO had turned it into a show. I was like, wow, HBO had made this, a show. It should be big news. And I feel like I have heard people talk about it, so I looked it up, found a way to watch it, and started watching it. And it's like, yeah, it's a really big sort of budget show. And basically at the very start, literally in the first few seconds of the show happening, is 2% of the world's population just disappear into nowhere. And so a lot of people...
What? How?
They just, boom, gone. And basically the show is saying, well, what's going to happen? And it sort of cuts forward like a couple of years forward, and still people dealing with the consequences, because 2% of the population going, I think it's only a few 100 million people, but by 6 degrees of separation, or whatever they can say, you know, everyone knows someone close to them that disappeared, really, or the people who didn't have someone disappear are really sort of considered privileged people when there's a bit of a
yes,
tension between them, and
because you didn't have anyone go,
and it changes the world, because it just doesn't make sense, because these people just disappear. And so everyone's trying to make sense of it. Is it God doing this? Blah, blah, blah. And so some people are becoming more religious. Some people are becoming atheists because of it. Because life is just a game to someone, something. And a big storyline is this cult that develops in the small town that you're following. And I don't know where they got the idea for that, but I guess, people form cults about smaller things, so
yes,
and so it is again like a sort of an emotional family sort of drama.
You've been watching a lot of these like family based kind of dramas, haven't you? I'm sensing a theme.
Yeah, well, it's just this happened to be from the same writer, so it's obviously something he's interested in. So yeah, I've only watched the first season, started the second season. The second season has some interesting things happen, but I've stopped watching, which is not a good sign. Although I've just been busy with other stuff, so I'm probably will finish it eventually. I went and saw Arrival at cinemas. I got a free ticket on Twitter. Shout out to KP on Twitter for giving me a free ticket.
How'd you scam that?
Pardon? He was just like,
he wants the ticket.
Oh, was obviously running the social media for some brand.
Which one? Who's in that one again?
Amy Adams.
Oh, yeah.
And
that
Jeremy
one
Renner.
I didn't know if I was into that.
It's an interesting idea. I saw the poster and I was like, okay, aliens have come to Earth. And I was like, well, I'm in.
Yeah, you quite like sci-fi stuff.
I don't need to watch the and it's directed by Denis Villeneuve, who is an interesting up-and-coming director, although he's done quite a few movies now. Which I'd also just watched Enemy. I'd watched that on iTunes with Jake Gyllenhaal, which is this weird movie about two Jake Gyllenhaals meeting in real life.
I love Jake Gyllenhaal, though. Was it a good movie?
It wasn't that great. But it's weird. Have you seen The Double with Jesse Eisenberg? It's almost the exact same movie except filmed differently. And I actually went to say, are they both based on the same book or something? And then it turns out that I think they're based on different books, but just have the same premise of just two people who look exactly alike and have the same name. And what happens after that? Anyway, Arrival. I feel like I want to say go see it because I want to encourage more movies like this, but I didn't really rate it that much. Because basically what happens is Amy Adams is like a person who's really good with languages, and they call her in to try and work out how to communicate with the aliens. So she's trying to interpret their language, and also she's trying to teach them English so that they can try and...
Are they evil? The aliens? What kind of aliens are they?
Well, you don't know. You don't know what their purpose is because they're trying to tell you something. We don't know what it is.
Yeah.
And there's a spaceship lands all over the place around the corner, even one in WA, so that got a big shout in the cinema.
Hey.
And so each country has their own investigation team. We're only following Amy Adams' team, but there's a lot of politics about who's communicated the most. Should we share information or should we not share information? Blah blah blah. But then it goes on this whole other tangent, which I don't like, and I probably should not say what it is, because basically the solution to understanding their language creates this whole different movie, which some people really love. I don't like that kind of movie that it becomes. I like the start of the movie. The setup is pretty cool. The introduction to the aliens, and But yeah, so I don't know. I feel like I should recommend people go see stuff that isn't a Marvel movie, or isn't Star Wars.
I'm so over them at the moment. They just release too many at the same time.
Yeah.
Isn't there another Spider-Man coming out?
Yeah, they just put a trailer for another.
What the fuck?
Yeah.
Why?
Oh, but this one ties into the Avengers, man.
Why? No, it's so frustrating. I'm done.
I'm gonna just start running through things. Yay or nay?
I just remembered a couple of things also.
Body double. Brian De Palma. I'm trying to go through Brian De Palma's backlog and see the movies I haven't seen. The latest one is Body Double. It's about a guy who gets to live in this fancy apartment, and there's a telescope and he can see into the window across, and there's a beautiful woman who runs around naked, and kind of like Rear Window. It's kind of like a different interpretation of the idea of Rear Window by Hitchcock. And I was quite sort of enjoying it until it has this like ridiculous turn of events which I had to rewind to get. And even after I rewound the first time, I didn't understand it, and I had to rewind again to understand because anyway.
Basically,
so I don't rate that movie. I rented The Meddler with just because it had Rose Byrne in it, and it's about Susan Sarandon, I think. Rose Byrne is a daughter, and she's adjusting to life, I guess, without a husband, and she's trying to be more involved with her daughter's life and stuff like that. And she's the meddler. Wasn't that great? But it wasn't really.
Another family drama.
I wasn't target. I'm not the target audience. I think it's targeted at people who actually have children who are 30 years old. Mm-hmm. Which is not me. Tim's Vermeer. That is a show by Penn and Teller. Who are these magicians, and it's about the guy who invented the machine that allows you to switch between cameras in a TV show.
Oh. Okay.
Well, at least a cheap version.
I saw Dynamo when he came, also.
The magician?
Yeah, I saw his show at the arena.
Yeah.
A couple of weeks ago.
Any good?
Yeah, it was really good.
Why?
My mum bought us tickets for Christmas, and I've never really been to like a full.
I've never heard of him before, but everyone seems to be going to the
show.
show.
Have you never heard of him? Oh, he has his own TV show.
Oh, okay.
And he's based in the UK, so like I've heard of him on the TV show, and I've seen that.
How did you see
times.
the TV show? Like on regular TV?
Yeah, I think so. Okay. I think I watched a bit in London. I think I heard about him when I was. Yeah, I think he did this thing where he like walked on water. I think he did that when I was living over there. Like, yeah. And he's just got this like kind of quirky, like slightly lonery kid. But like he laced this like comic book style into his show, and it was about how like he felt quite lonely as a kid because he was quite bullied, and magic was his way of connecting, and like it was really sweet. And he had a lot of like family stuff, but yeah, it was all like comic book based. And but it was good, and some of the tricks are really good. That brings me to another point though about like entertainment appreciation. Like nothing bugs me more than going to a concert and everyone just kind of like, especially when it's a full arena of people, and it's just like, I know with magicians a bit hard because you want to watch, so you're kind of concentrating, like you don't know when to clap. But like at the end of the show, people just kind of, I don't know, it's just really weird.
I don't understand. They weren't clapping enough, or they're clapping too much?
They weren't clapping enough.
Okay.
And I feel like I've been to a few shows in Perth where I've been in the audience and gone, why aren't you like engaging? Like, I don't know whether that's a Perth thing but yeah, I've just been to like a few of the bigger concerts especially, and I just feel like they're just, considering the volume of people, and that really bugs me because I know how much hard work in terms of being a performer goes into a show. Like, yeah, it's just really interesting. I did some really cool tricks, obviously, but actually though, we had this woman, so we went with my sister, we went with my mum, my sister, her, and both their partners, and my brother-in-law, and my sister and I were sitting next to each other, and the show had started, and he actually had really good music in his show also, but the show had started, and but it was like a comic book, and there was nothing being said, it was just music and the comic book playing, so you didn't have to listen to anything. Anyway, my sister just leans over and she's like, oh, I bet you he was bullied as a kid at school. And I was like, oh, yeah, like, that's part of his show's premise. Like on the TV, he talks about that, whatever. And I was like, did you know? She's like, oh, no. That's literally all our conversation was. This woman in front of us, and I'm thinking she's about like 50-ish, like, and her husband turns around and goes, shut the fuck up. Like, full. And we weren't even, it's like, we weren't even talking like A, that loudly, B, about something not like relating to the show, and he wasn't speaking, he wasn't on stage, like nothing rude. And then we were just like, whoa. And my sister gets riled up real easy. And because we were in shock, we're like, how dare, like, if you have an issue, turn around and say, hey, can you keep it down? Like, if you have an issue. And then my sister was like tapping her on the shoulder, being like, were you speaking to us? Excuse me? Were you talking to us? That's so rude. Like, how dare you speak to someone like that? And the rest of the show, she just did not, her and her husband weren't even clapping. I was like, why the fuck are you here? Like, they were so rude. They were so rude. And at the end of the show, my sister kind of like said to them, oh, you can't, you know, you can yell at someone, but you can't turn around and apologize, like, kind of thing. No, just kept kept walking. Like, obviously she could have had a bad day, whatever, but she could have turned around at interval and been like, oh, sorry, like, or something. No, the whole time she just sat there like that. Is that, I don't know, we were just in shock. It was so rude. It was so rude. Like, it's not like we'd been talking the whole show either. It was literally like the first 2 minutes.
I don't know, 2 minutes is a long time though in a show. If someone was talking 2 minutes into a movie, I probably would have done the same thing.
But would you go shut the fuck up?
Sometimes you have to be strong these days because people don't take you seriously.
No, you just go, excuse me, can you be quiet?
It's a bit confrontational.
Yeah, it's very confrontational. And from like...
And then your sister made another fuss about it. So
well,
what's she gonna?
Well, no, what's she gonna do?
I'm not knocking your sister. I'm just saying.
No,
it didn't effectively quiet you up because then.
No, well, we were quiet after, but she just for that second was like, that was very rude. Like, how dare you speak to anybody that way? Like,
was there children there?
No.
Okay.
No, it was just her and her husband. That's what I mean. And then they didn't even clap or anything the whole show.
Right. No, but did your sister have a child there?
No.
Okay.
No. It was just like adults. It was so rude. And yeah, she could have had a bad day, whatever, but you don't, if you want someone to be quiet, you start off with the, excuse me, can you please be
I feel
quiet?
like there should be an expectation that you should just be quiet when the show's on.
Yeah, you should be quiet, but she literally, what I just said was literally our conversation.
Well, you weren't
which would have taken, no, we were quiet. That's what I'm saying. We weren't like, oh my God, yeah, like we were like to each other like this, like talking to each other.
Okay.
You know, we weren't making, that's why we were just so like shocked about it, because we weren't, if we were being loud, we would have been like, oh, okay, we're a bit loud. Whoops. Like, no, it was very rude. Anyway, that was the dynamite. I saw Missy Higgins as well last weekend with Wasso.
What's she doing?
That was beautiful. She's great. She's really good live. I've never seen her live, actually. It was her, George, as well, that band played.
I hate Missy Higgins.
Oh, I mean, I used to like her old
There's
stuff.
very few people I bring out the word hate for.
But with Wasso, it was really nice. It was like with the...
maybe.
Yeah, it was good. Anyway, that was just my other consumptions. Continue with your list.
Yes, speaking of magicians, Penn and Teller, they're magicians. I also watched their show on Netflix called Fool Us, which is an okay, just crappy show to watch. It's
if you've got
it's magicians, young up and coming magicians come up on stage. Penn and Teller, they do their trick that they want to show off, and Penn and Teller decide judge it by saying, "Oh, we know what you did, or you fooled us." And if you fool us, you get a trophy, and you get to come be the opening act for one of our shows in Las Vegas. So I guess it's cool because you get to see 3 different magicians. Every episode you get to see 3 different magicians do a trick. And at the end, Penn and Teller do one of their old tricks. So, you know, it's a cool way to see magic, a bunch of different magic tricks and stuff. But they don't tell you what actually they did. They just say if it fooled us or not. So it doesn't actually give you any answers as to what's going on.
Oh.
But they made this movie with the guy who makes the video toaster thing that you switch cameras with, and so he's probably pretty well off. And his latest project is there's this artist called Vermeer, who did The Girl with the Pearl Earring, which was a Scarlett Johansson movie.
Yes, I remember that.
Anyway, apparently I don't really know art that well, but his paintings really stand out because it's like the way he paints, the way light is, looks really sort of realistic. And they're like, well, they think he was sort of basically tracing an actual projection, like he's set up the scene, projecting it onto a wall and tracing it, but then there were certain things about that didn't work. And so this guy came up with a theory saying, oh, he's got not just a projection, but also a mirror involved, which allows him to sort of really see the subtleties of the colours of the light and paint these really sort of photorealistic paintings.
Sounds beautiful.
And so the movie is just about him recreating one of those paintings. So nothing much happens in the movie. I thought it would be way more like this machine that this guy possibly invented would be really complicated to create. It's like, no, it's just a mirror. And so it's more about him just actually trying to create a painting. It takes him ages to do it. So I'm guessing he's not working on it full time. He's just doing an hour each day. But I guess they're just sort of following him doing it. And so then he takes, once he finishes the painting, he takes it around to some of the experts in this guy's paintings and says, do you think this is the technique to use? And they sort of think, yeah, it's possible, but no one really knows. The only clue is that the benefactor of his will, no, not the benefactor, what's the person the executor of the will, happened to be a famous lens maker of the time. And in the listings of all the things in his possession when he died, nothing was shown as, this set of lenses and stuff like that would be required to make this machine to do this painting. But if that stuff was owned by the lens maker who was the executive will, he would have just taken it and not put it on the the will, I guess. That's what they're saying. Saw Spotlight, did not really like that.
Spotlight. Why is that something there?
It won a bunch of Oscars. It's about the journalists who uncovered, priests fiddling with young kids in Boston. So it's a, important topic, but it's just literally like, it's just a procedural. There's nothing amazing about it. It's just, this is what they did. Okay. Sing Street, which is by the guy who did Once and Begin Again. That's his new film. I quite enjoyed this.
Begin Again. Is that Keira Knightley?
Yeah.
Yeah, I liked that one. Actually, it was really natural.
Yeah. Sing Street is about a kid who starts a band to impress a girl in high school, and I quite enjoyed it. Feels a bit too commercial compared to like Once and Begin Again. But yeah, also Wilson. Blue Jay, which is like it's a Duplass brothers film, filmed in black and white. It's about an old couple reconnecting after not seeing each other for a long time and spending a sort of a night together. And eventually you find out what happened to them that caused them to break up many years ago. The reason I watched this is this sounds very similar to a movie I'm working on. So I wanted to watch it to make sure I'm not doing exactly the same thing. Thankfully, I'm not. But I definitely want to make it. I was a bit jealous because I want to make a movie in black and white, and yes, I want to make a movie about this former lovers meeting up after a long time and reminiscing. The Witch is about witches in old school America, East Coast. I'm not a horror person, but this was an interesting film, I guess. It was better than I thought it would be. Didn't think I would like it. Jack Reacher of Tom Cruise.
Was that good?
Can barely remember what it was about. The Overnight, which is a film with Jason Schwartzman and Man on a Ledge. The Overnight, it's pretty low brow. Man on the Ledge with Sam Worthington. Perth's, Rockingham's own Perth, Sam Worthington.
Shout out.
Ugh, it's not that great. It's very B-movie. Hot topic. Tania, do you believe in free will?
That we have free will? Or that, like, in what way?
As in, if you decide to do something, is it your decision? Or is it predestined that you're going to do that anyway?
Oh, okay. You mean that kind of... I thought you were making, like, some statement about political corruption and, brainwashing and all that stuff. That's not what you mean. You mean free will and
You
fate?
could probably weigh in that stuff into...
You mean free will and fate, or...
As in, are you making... When you decide to do something, is that your decision that you've consciously made, or are you a robot that's just doing the path that's set out for it?
So when you put it... You make it sound scientific with the whole robot thing. Like, whether you're just doing it because you've been programmed to do that.
Yeah, we can think about it as fate, as in...
No, I know.
I'm
just saying you've put it that way. But in terms of because we've discussed this before, I'm a bit of a spiritualist. So to an extent, I believe that, what you do is putting you in that direction. But there is also, I believe in free will as well. Like you still have the choice to do, and whatever choice you make, if you went the other way, something else could have happened, and that's up to you. Like sometimes there is a choice that's so obvious, and that's why you choose it. And sometimes you've got to ask whether that's, you've chosen it because of you're meant to go down that way, or whether because you just did it. Like, I don't know. I'm a bit of a mixture because of how my beliefs.
Like if I said to you, Tania, take a sip of this sparkling water.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah.
You have a choice if you're going to obey me or not.
Mm-hmm.
Now...
You're putting it into very small context, but yes.
Yeah. Okay. So how do you come about that choice?
I exert my free will to whether I want the water or not.
Okay. So you're going to have a sip of water or not?
No, I don't particularly like soda water, so...
Okay. So that decision was made because you don't like soda water?
Yes.
Right, so it's not based on what you wanted. It's based on the pattern in your life that led you to the point where you don't like soda water.
Yeah, but it is based on what I wanted because I don't want soda water. Also, yes, the pattern leading
but
up
you
to
could
it,
have,
but it does...
as a choice, you could have overrode that decision and had a sip of water.
To please you, I could have, but I chose
because
not to.
you're so eager to please me, and
But
that's part of that's part of your past that came to that decision. There's all these things that weighing it up.
Yeah, correct.
So then you didn't really have free will then. Basically, that decision was made by all these things that happened before that led up to that point, and you couldn't override that decision. You just went with the decision
that would be impossible unless you were at a child where that has not happened to you yet, where you're exerting complete free will.
Yeah.
It's impossible to then have it. You can still exert free will, but you couldn't have it without the pattern behind it. That's just not... That wouldn't be free will.
Mm-hmm. So you feel like we don't have free will because everything is based on stuff.
No, I still think you have the power to say yes or no, regardless. You can go against your pattern, which means you're exerting free will. So even if something has happened to you before and you know that this always tends to happen to you, or you always react a certain way, you can choose to go against that pattern.
Can you think of an example like where you've made a decision that you had to consciously override?
Oh, heaps. I just don't want to discuss them.
Yeah, I mean, you really like Gusto ice cream.
Yeah.
Do you ever say, "Oh, I'd not have ice cream today because I didn't get enough exercise"?
Yeah.
But you really liked ice cream.
Yeah, but I can still override and say I don't want any.
But is the override because you know that you haven't done?
It can be, if I'm not in the... If there's no particular flavour I want there. It just depends on...
So the decision was made by what flavours were there, but not your actual decision.
Yeah, but my general pattern would be that I like ice cream, thus I eat ice cream. So to go against that pattern would mean that I was exerting free will.
Okay.
Correct. Even in social situations, like if you get mad about certain things.
Yeah.
For example, knowing that that kind of is coming and you can set it up for it, and then you can steer a different direction to how you react to something. So stuff like that all the time. People do it all the time, unless they fall back into old habits.
But if you, I mean, you said you started off saying you feel a bit spiritual, like you're destined to do.
Now you're going to make me sound like a fucking kook, which I don't appreciate. But no, that's not.
No, this is not. This is a safe place to discuss ideas.
That's not. No, but now you're going to contradict what I just explained about free will. I said I'm a mixture of both, and that's what I am.
Okay.
So I don't mean you're comparing it to everyday life decisions, eating ice cream, whether you're going to go to the gym or not, stuff like that.
Yeah.
I'm talking about like bigger, just life decisions.
Okay, you're. I think you're coming up with a big. You're coming to a big life point where you're thinking of moving to Canada.
Yeah. Well, I am moving to Canada. Yes.
You definitely are.
Yes, in June. I'm out of here by June.
You booked your tickets?
No, but I don't have the money to book them yet, but that's my goal.
Okay. And so you think you have, if you actually get on the plane and you arrive in Canada, do you think that's purely your decision?
Yeah.
That you made, or it's just the combination of all the decisions you made before leading you to that point where you, at that point, you have no choice but to get on that plane and go to Canada?
Well, it wouldn't be that I'd have no choice, even if everything led to me getting to the point where I was
let's say you have the money.
No, but even if I had, or everything that led me to that point to get on the plane, I decided to not get on that plane, I could still exert my free will and get off the plane.
You think you could? You've worked so hard to this. You've been studying.
Yeah, but
you've been saving money.
There'd be a reason for me to not get on the plane. I wouldn't just, okay, see ya. So when that happened, but no, I've been working towards it, so I will go.
Yeah, so you're on this destiny train.
Well, yeah, but that's different because I've planned it. It's different if someone said to me, if someone called me up and said, hey, you know what, you've got a free ticket to go to Canada and we're going to support you for the first 6 months of your arrival, get your job, all that jazz, just because you won a competition or you did something like that. And I'd been planning to go to Canada, and do you know what I mean? That would be different. To me, that kind of stuff is more like fated.
Yeah.
Because you can plan for what you want to do, and then that happens because you planned it. And that's, for me, that's what Canada is, because I planned it. Unless, tomorrow I got a phone call saying that I won a flight or this or that, that would reiterate that I was meant to go.
Yeah. But you don't think you could self-sabotage yourself?
Oh, you just people...
That you've done everything that makes Canada perfectly possible, everything's under your control, and you decide just not to get off, not because a guy said, I love you, stay and marry me in Perth, or your mum got sick and you want to look after her. You can't have any excuses. Do you think you could get off that plane without any excuses?
But why would I do that? Why would I do that?
Exactly. So you don't think you could do it?
But why would I want to, James?
To test.
to prove a point.
To test to see if we have free will.
It's not worth me proving a point when it's something I want to do.
All right. I was in your camp where, yeah, sure, we have free will. We do what we want. But I'm starting to think, though, our decision-making is just a giant mathematical formula that just calculating everything's adding up to the point we made that decision, and we can't make that choice to give the wrong answer.
Well, you totally can still give the wrong answer.
But you're saying, what's the point of doing it?
You're making it in a different context. Answering a question correctly is different from getting off a plane. Or saying something on purpose. So you were wanting me to get off the plane on purpose to prove a point. I could say the wrong answer on purpose. I could lie on purpose.
So you think you're willing to prove me wrong by taking a sip of the soda water, which you don't like?
I'm not going to take a sip of soda water to prove you wrong.
Okay. Why not?
Well, because I could, but I don't need to.
But there's no stakes. Obviously, getting off that plane for no reason has stakes, big stakes. Could ruin your life.
Wouldn't go that far.
But having a sip of soda water,
yeah,
it's not going to really change you at all.
But I'm exerting my free will to not drink it because I want to please you.
Yeah, but
I could drink it, but I'm not going to.
I think you have better proof because it's easier
How is that
to not.
proof? I'm conforming then. How is that proof to my free will if I'm conforming to you wanting me to drink the water?
Because you're making an active decision. Your decision at the moment is like, I don't like soda water, so I'm not going to sip it.
No, and now I'm actively defying you because I don't want to.
Okay, but how do I know that for sure?
What do you mean? How? Because I was sipping the water earlier on because it was there and I was thirsty.
Yeah, but you might have sipped it a bunch, and now.
No, I'm telling you. I sipped it because I was thirsty.
You had such a poor experience.
No, I was sipping
soda
it
water.
because I was thirsty. And when you're desperate and you're thirsty, you drink things.
Do you want me to get some still water?
Then you asked me if I would drink the water, and I denied it because I knew you were trying to make a point.
Okay.
So I exerted my free will to make a point.
Don't you think that's part of your personality?
That I'm stubbornly not drinking
Yeah.
the water. It could be, but then it's part of everyone's personality to do whether they do it or not.
Mm-hmm.
So, sure.
But do you think your personality is programmed by all the decisions that have come before you in the past?
Of course it has.
Yeah.
How else do you get personality?
Right. So can you override it?
Can I override what?
Yeah. Can you override your personality to stop actively defying me?
You can. I just said that. You can defy your...
I'll prove it by sipping the water.
I don't want to because I'm actively defying my decision.
Okay.
Because I'm thirsty right now, but I'm not drinking it.
Can you override your active decision to not drink the water?
But why would I want to?
To prove that you have free will.
But I already proved that I have free will by not drinking the water.
No, but I'm saying that was a decision you'd already made.
But now you're trying to make me lose my own free will by pressuring me to drink the water.
No, I'm saying you have the choice. You have the freedom to drink the water and override.
I have the freedom to, and in my freedom, I choose not to drink the water.
Yeah, but I think you got to do something bigger.
No, I'm not giving in to you so that you can win and prove your point. This is I'm defying you by not drinking the water because I was drinking it earlier because I had to. You do what you got to do when you're thirsty.
If I got you some still water, would you drink it?
Probably because I'm thirsty.
Okay, I'll go get some still water then.
Why are you getting me water? I don't want any water.
We've got to test this theory.
What theory? I said I'd drink it.
Okay, so I just got some nice still water. Can you defy me and not drink the water?
But why would I want to defy you?
To prove that you have free will. You want a sip of water because you're thirsty.
Yeah.
But can you not take a sip of water?
Of course I can.
Okay.
That wasn't very hard.
Tanya just put the glass down.
With a defiant look on her face.
Okay, what if I want you to take a sip of water?
Then I'm not going to take one.
Would
now.
you take a sip of water as a favour for me?
No. Because you're twisting it around on me now because why would I do it as a favour to you? It's not benefiting you.
Okay. Anyway, you understand, it's hard to prove this thing.
It is very hard to prove this thing. I agree with you.
But do you honestly think you can defy the mathematical equation that brings you to a decision?
Yes, if you're depending on your level of willpower.
Yeah.
And it's different for every person.
But maybe the answer to the question or the equation of that decision is how much willpower you have. Knowing that you're getting on the plane to go to Canada, there's no way on earth you would just get off.
For no reason.
For no reason.
There'd have to be a reason.
So that your decision to get on the plane has been predetermined.
Yes. Because I allowed it to be. Because I made the conscious decision. I'm not going to get off the plane to prove a point, James.
But you think you could?
Yeah.
You could get off that plane.
But
just
I wouldn't want
point.
to. I wouldn't want to because I have nothing. I don't feel like I need to prove anything.
Well, what's the percentage chance of you not getting on that plane?
Stop using the plane as an example. This is like my pride and joy. Stop using it as an example.
No, but that's what life is. Is it possible for you to make that decision to not get on the plane when everything you want is on that plane?
Yes, but you need a reason. People aren't just going to turn around for no reason. If you ask them why they turn around, they say, I don't know. There's still a reason.
Yeah, but wouldn't that be the ultimate show that you have free will, is to just do it for no reason?
But that would be a reason. You wouldn't do it for no reason.
Yeah, so your decision has been predetermined because you know in yourself that you would not do it for no reason.
Yes.
You would
but
do it
free
for no
will
reason.
dictates that you choose what you want to do.
No, but if there's a whole bunch of reasons for every decision you make for the one you choose, then those reasons are what dictates what you do, what decision
Because
you make.
it's your logical brain.
So there's no free will. You're just adding those. You're doing the maths. You're doing the maths in your head of all the decisions that thing, and you choose it because it's pointing you to that direction. So you're not actively choosing it. You're just doing a mathematical sum of your head.
But you are actively choosing it. Your brain is doing that for you to actively make a decision.
That's what I'm saying. I think we don't have free will. We're just a mathematical formula that's constantly calculating everything.
Well, I disagree. I think we do, because we calculate and we can go against the correct calculation.
Yeah, but again, you would never get off that plane to Canada.
Yeah, unless there was a reason, James. So my brain would have to calculate the reasoning.
Your reason would be part of that calculation.
Yeah, of course it would.
And so that answer to the question of yes or no, you're going to Canada, right, is the answer. If the answer is yes, because that's what you want, that's based on your training, your vision for your future, and the answer is yes, you could never pick no. That's what I'm saying.
But why would I? Unless something happened that made me outweigh the other option.
Yeah, exactly.
I would not. But what I'm saying is, you're just trying to get me to prove a point. Like, if you want something, you have it, and you can still you have the free will to choose one way or the other.
Well, I'm saying you don't.
Well, I think
because you would never do something without a reason.
Yeah, exactly. But reason's part of that. It is based on previous factors, but you choose whether you go in one direction or the other.
But if it's based on previous factors, then did you really make a choice?
Yes.
You just followed the algorithm.
Anyway, my brain hurts now. I'm done.
You got quite fired up about that.
Yeah.
You wouldn't even take a sip of water.
No. No.
Do you know why?
Oh, for God's sake. Why? Why what? Why I got so riled up about it?
Yeah.
Because we're having a discussion.
Okay.
And I disagree with you. So we're still discussing. But if we were in agreement, I wouldn't be as heated about it, obviously.
All right. Where can we find you on the internet, Tania?
You can find me on Instagram under Tanche, so TANCHE_XI. Or you can find me on Twitter as Tania Alice, so TANIAAALIS_. Yeah, give us a shout. Go follow our Instagram as well, with our whole one photo that's up at the moment.
Well, you've got a whole bunch right now. You can, or you use Snapchat so that it doesn't save to your phone.
Oh, I've saved a couple, but you don't want that on there. They're on like makeup free zone. Anyway, but yeah, where can we find you?
You find me at The Guy Called Tom.
Look, I'm having some water. I'm having some water.
You can't resist.
I'm thirsty. That's a bodily need, and I've weighed up my options as to whether it's okay to defy you or not, because I'm annoyed and it's not worth it. I can't be bothered.
Sure. I think that decision was made before you even made it.
Just continue with your spiel.
Yeah, I'm The Guy Called Tom at various places. You can find JimishFem at jimishfem.com. Go on to iTunes if you have a computer or the podcast app on your iDevice. Search for Jimish and leave us a review if you like the show. That helps us out the most. This is a free show. The only thing we ask of you is to leave a review. We'll catch you around.